Buying a home in Canada for Muslims who want to avoid interest is exceedingly difficult, and organisations offering Sharia-compliant financing have come and gone over the years. A new organisation in Alberta has just opened up with the help of an Edmonton lawyer and a former Deputy Premier. We are honoured today to have with us that Deputy Premier, Honourable Thomas Lucaszuk. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
When the leaders of the Al Rashid Mosque, which is a very special mosque to Muslims in Canada, the first mosque of Canada, came to you with this problem that they didn't know how to solve about how to provide interest-free home financing, what was it about their pitch that grabbed your attention that you wanted to get involved?
Well, the very virtue of the fact that we have Canadians who simply cannot participate in our economy, who cannot buy and sell houses just like the rest of Canadians can. And because of that, these families are trapped in what I think of as a cycle of poverty, because they are perpetual renters. They can never own a house. They can never build up any equity. They can never will their own houses to their children or grandchildren, like all Canadians do. So I decided that this is a wrong that needs to be corrected. And there's no reason why it has to be that way. Just because a family wants to be pious, wants to be true to their religion, shouldn't preclude them from owning a house.
What were the major challenges that you solved to launch this corporation, which I believe was launched just recently last month?
No, it was launched actually last December. So we've been around for a while already. Major challenges, because we wanted to make sure that not only families have the ability now to buy a house, but we also wanted to make sure that two things happen. That number one, our program is 100% Sharia law compliant, that we're not cutting corners. But second of all, we wanted to make sure that Muslim families have the same Canadian legal protection that the rest of Canadians have. So if something ever goes wrong, they can go before courts and litigate. So the challenge was actually meshing Sharia law with Canadian civil law and making sure that both of the laws support our contract. So we have been working with Islamic finance scholars from across the world and in Canada, and numerous lawyers across Canada to make sure that our contracts are both compliant and enforceable in Canada.
Well, I'm not an expert in that area, so I'm not sure I want to venture down asking you that path. It might be too legal. Can you tell us then, just for the average person, I want to buy a home, I found a home, it's $400,000 in Edmonton or $1 million in Toronto, and I come to you and I say, help me with financing. Walk us through what that would look like.
Well, the first thing you would want to do is get onto our website at www.Canadian Halal Financial Corporation and explore and read up about the program. If you are interested, contact us and ask us to send you an application package, which means that you would have to file your personal financial disclosure, your income, your expenses, your family budget, basically, and then several supporting documents, your recent income tax returns, your bank account statements, if you have bank accounts, letter of employment, paycheck stub, so that we can assess what your capacity is to be able to make minimum monthly payments. Takes us about 10 days to review an application and pre-approve it. And once you're pre-approved, you can start shopping for a house anywhere in Alberta.
Your deposit rate is 25%, I understand, of the purchase price, which in Edmonton, I think, is a lot easier for people to accumulate than it is for a purchase price in Ontario. Is your corporation available only to Albertans, or is it Canada-wide?
Well, we are currently available only to Albertans, well, to Canadians interested in purchasing a house in Alberta. However, we are now working on expanding our services across Canada. So in 2023, please stay tuned. We will be announcing expansion across Canada. The reason the delay is that, unfortunately, in Canada, laws change from province to province. So again, we are going through the same process, making sure that our contracts are enforceable in every single province in Canada. The 25%, I understand it can be prohibitive, but one of the requirements of Sharia law is that mortgages and financing not be insured by insurance companies and third parties. When you go to a conventional bank, every single loan is insured. We cannot do that. So this deposit is simply a reality and a requirement.
Now, I'm not an expert in Islamic finance, and I'm sure you've learned a lot over the years, but can you explain what makes this loan halal? How does it conform?
By all means. So number one, the source of our funding has to be verified and approved by a halal committee at the Al Rashid Mosque. We also have a fatwa from Al Azhar in Cairo that reviewed our processes. We cannot invest our profits or conduct any other business than Islamic financing, which obviously is different from banks. They invest in everything all the time. We do not charge interest. We have been given a formula that allows us to make a modest profit, so charge profit, and then flow through cost that we pass on to our clients, the cost of doing this business. We also cannot insure, as I mentioned earlier, our loans. We carry all the risk. There are no third parties involved. There are no banks or any other financial institutions on your title of the house. You are the owner of the house. Your name is the only name on the title of the house. That's very important. But what also is important that unlike banks, in case a family finds itself in a financial hardship and cannot make monthly payments, your conventional bank will immediately foreclose on your house, which means they will sell your house and take the money that is owed to them. We can't do that. We have a process that is Sharia law required, where first we enter into Islamic mediation with a client, try to figure out what their problem is and solve it together as partners and wait for payments. If it can't be solved, we have to allow the client to sell their own house so that they can make as much profit on that house as possible. And for foreclosure for us is the last resort. So our contracts are built in a spirit of partnership, and there isn't a lender-borrower relationship. And lastly, every single agreement that is signed by a client goes one more time before a fatwa committee and is reviewed that it is indeed Sharia compliant, and a client gets a certificate saying your mortgage has been actually reviewed individually and it is halal.
So that's a very, very, very careful process. Are you able to just give us a sample figure? If it's a $500 house, what's the profit calculation that's added on to the monthly rental installments?
So the profit is actually not calculated in terms of percentages. So if there is a company that tells you what the percentage of profit is, you should be wondering whether they're truly halal. We actually, the humor around the office is that we don't actually use the multiplication button on our calculator at all. We use addition button. So once we know how much financing a family requires and over what period of time they want to amortize that financing, how much time they want to pay this, make payments on this financing, then we determine the level of profit. And the profit then is added a little bit to every monthly payment. Then on top of that, we also do the flow through costs. So our company experiences expenses, obviously. We have investors that expect dividends, returns on their investment. That is passed on to our clients. So each time it is individually calculated for each client. And before they sign any contracts, we provide them in terms of what their minimum monthly payments will be with the cost and profit.
I'm sure Muslims are extremely excited about this development, but given the scary people reaction to that phrase Sharia law in Alberta, are you getting any kind of negative pushback from people outside the Muslim community?
We have, but I have no time for that. I'm an immigrant myself. I came to Canada when I was 13 years old, didn't speak a word of English. My parents still struggle with the English language. And anybody who wants to make any comments that are in any way mean-spirited, we simply push back. And frankly, anybody can apply for mortgage with us. You don't have to be Muslim. If you want to have a Sharia law compliant mortgage, feel free to apply. And if you qualify, we will accept you. The fact is that we all have different religions, and all religions put certain criteria, certain limitations on us that we live up to. We go to your local grocery store and you will find kosher pickles on the shelves over there because Jews can't eat certain foods. You will find that, up until recently, Catholics wouldn't eat meats on Fridays. The list goes on and on. And the fact is that we are a country of citizens from all over the world, of all backgrounds and religions, and there is simply no reason why one group, a very large group of Canadians, shouldn't be able to buy a house. I have to tell you, I was quite surprised why this problem wasn't solved earlier in a meaningful and a permanent way. And frankly, it's wrong for any group of Canadians not to be able to purchase a house and own a house.
Unfortunately, we're out of time, but we're very happy that you got involved and that you've helped launch this project. It's a great benefit to our community. So thank you, and thank you for joining us on the show.
And I thank you.
Thank you for watching. If you like what we do, please share, like, and subscribe. Stay safe, and God bless.